What is up, my peeps? Good day to you. Molly and I are heading down to Cedar Key, Florida, and not necessarily on a happy note. As you may or may not know, I'm sure from the description you'll know, we had a hurricane roll through Florida and all the way up north. I know we have friends in Tennessee that are affected by it, different areas, but this is Molly and I's first real hurricane. There was a couple smaller ones that hit earlier this year when we first got here. And, you know, they were like, oh wow, this is a storm. This was a full-on hurricane. Luckily, where we live, there wasn't a ton of damage. A lot of trees fall on like fences, and we had our tree in our front yard break and fall down right in between our walkway. But as far as damage, we didn't incur any real damage. Having said all that, we know that there are a lot of places in Florida that sustained a lot of damage. And one of them is a place that we traveled to earlier this year. We just simply loved this place. We wanted to go back and spend some time there because we didn't spend a lot of time there. Unfortunately, we got rear-ended and got in a car accident, and that postponed us going back before the hurricane happened. Now the hurricane has probably done a lot of damage. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos and it looks really bad. We want to see it for ourselves and we want to show you guys. Part of that Florida life is documenting the good. We also want to document the bad, and the reason why is because bad stuff happens. If we just paint a pretty picture, people are going to get a false sense of what Florida's like. We love Florida so far. Everything's been pretty awesome. There are some things we don't like about it. We'd love to share that with you. Definitely, I don't think anybody likes a hurricane, but we do want to document it. We want to show the aftermath. We have no desire to go during the hurricane because it's dangerous, and there's plenty of people that are doing that anyway. We got 5 dogs to take care of, so can't just be running off and chasing after a storm. But I do have a little bit of that storm chaser mentality in me. It's one of those desires. You watch movies like Twister and stuff like that, and you want to document things. But in reality, it's not really my place in life. I'd rather show you the good stuff. But we are going to show the aftermath, and we're going to be safe about it. My wife has no desire to take chances with her life. I'm kind of the wild one in the mix, but she keeps me somewhat tame. But we're going to get close to the action as far as from a safe distance. We're going to show the aftermath. We're going to show what it looks like now. I have no idea what to expect. I have Molly tap in here in a few, and she'll tell you kind of her perspective on things. I'll also try and show what the day looks like now. The way it looks now, it doesn't seem like there was just a hurricane that went through in my mind, but this is our first experience with this. I guess the stuff happens quick, and then certain areas are really, really affected. And then where we live, it's not so bad. Like I said, we had some extreme winds, and we didn't get the water damage or the flooding or the surge, like what they call it. We're just far enough away. Anyway, stay tuned. We got a lot to show you, hopefully, and hopefully we can find some good to show you too.
Greg and I are heading out to the Gulf side of Florida. We are gonna go near Cedar Key. There is a lot of downed trees. Looks like people are already starting their cleanup. I've seen quite a few piles being burned. Tractors are moving things around because there's a lot of big debris here.
Yeah, it's really a shame, like some of these old live oak trees that are probably hundreds of years old, seeing them split and broken. It's pretty, it's really bad when a big old live oak tree is sheared away and broken and died, because they've sustained so much in their hundreds of years that they've been around. It is interesting to see. There's a different dynamic that I'm used to, for sure. The storm damages that would happen on the West Coast are just different. It's just a different beast altogether. It seems like Floridians, at least, are so used to it that it's like back to work, business as usual. Try and just clean up and move on. So we are probably about 30 miles away from Cedar Key at this point. Damage through the back roads that we're on is pretty extensive in stuff that you wouldn't think that it would be. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of, right now you can see out that way, there's lots of trees. And those trees are fairly small, young trees. And back a ways, a lot of the old live oak trees were just sheared in half. It's amazing because those trees have lasted hundreds of years. You know, they always how strong oak is and everything. Be strong as an oak. That's a saying that I've heard my whole life. The sheer force of the storm sheared these big, wild, live oak trees that had been there literally hundreds of years. Sheared them right half. How oak gets sheared like that and people in the area, you know, survive and stuff. But where we're at now, it's a lot smaller trees. There is debris on the road and whatnot, but it's not as bad as what I thought it would be. And people are going about life as, you know, business as usual. We saw a lot of linemen working on the power lines. A lot of those old oak trees that I'm referring to literally took out big old power lines. It's sad. The destruction here is it's rough, but people are, like I said, they're going to carry on and move their thing. The forests will regrow. Those old oaks, you know, obviously that stuff get replaced, but you know, the oaks then will become the old big ones later on, and life goes on. I'm very curious what Cedar Key is going to be like, and then once we get there, we're going to assess whether or not we're going to go more south towards like Tampa, St. Pete, blah, 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 or if we're going to go north.
That road back there said road underwater.
So we just made it basically 5 miles from Cedar Key, and they have the whole road blocked off. If you don't live in that area, you can't even go to the island of Cedar Key. So we got turned around and now we're on a back road, which looks like the homes have, their whole yards are covered in water and debris, and this is moving away from Cedar Key, but we're hoping to be able to document some of the other areas that got hit hard.
There were some lines back there, power lines that were low. Got a car, no problem.
So you see these big old oak trees just sheared right off there. This whole park it's got debris everywhere. And this is mild compared to a lot of the spots, but we just stopped here to see a familiar place. Lots of these trees just completely fallen. So just driving around Steinhatchee, most of these roads, they're not blocked off, but they are filled with debris, and we're just trying to navigate ourselves around to see what kind of damage there is, and also, you know, maneuver safely So we have quite a bit of damage right here. This was actually businesses right here. You can see all the damage and destruction down this way. This building right here is completely toppled over. Looks like it's somebody's small little residence. This boat has been lodged on land. Got a boat across the way here. So much destruction. This looks like a little boathouse here. A lot of debris is floating in the water here. Boat over there. Boats down there, they're toppled over. Debris floating. Bridge is still in use. The road is closed down that way. Right by the water, it looks like this survived. This little RV. They fared pretty well, thankfully for them. A pier on the opposite side where it should be, if you look. This should be over there. What was once a playground is just now a field of debris. And what was basically the sidewalk is nothing but debris. Little piers just on their sides here. Coming up to a little fence here. I'm sure there used to be something right here, but it is gone. Probably an RV used to park here. And now it's just dirt and sand and lots of debris. Oh, here's the pier. This is the Steinhatchee Pier. Steinhatchee Pier right here. And it is now basically destroyed. Have to be careful not to fall through the pier. Not really sure what to expect here. So this used to be down there and been flipped up Another one of the piers right there. You know, on a side note, it's a beautiful day outside. For just 2 days ago, there was a hurricane. This is really nice and warm, and you'd never really realize there was a storm if you didn't see all this destruction.
That seems like a lot of stuff going on over here. Oh, that's why. And that.
This is for the pool, which looks like it's right over here. So the fence to the pool is gone. As you can see, it was over there, but the pool's filled. Doesn't look like a place I'd want to swim at. And then you can see the windows are all busted out here. And got an American flag standing strong.
Hello, Dusty.
There's like boat trailers.
Oh, wow. That's how to save on mobile home right there. I don't think that the dock is supposed to be like that.
Light posts on the ground. This was a bar. It had an outdoor bar here. I believe there's another one over there. Fences down. We tried going to this bar. They were trying to rebuild last time we were here, which was about a year ago. And they got hit from another hurricane. I don't know if it was Ian or Idalia or one of them, but here they're trying to recover from that, and then they get hit with this. Now they're done. It's the speaker systems for the bar, the lighting. I used to own a nightclub. I would have killed for that. You can see the big screen TV right here. This is probably about a 65, 70-inch TV on the ground. So Molly and I have kind of gone all over the area of Steinhatchee here. Really messed up. We thought when we came here about a year ago it was pretty messed up from the previous hurricane, but this is a whole nother level.
Set up the foot. Jeez.
So we went to Cedar Key, and it was blocked off. They were only letting people that lived in the area in, which I totally understand. I could have pulled the press card and tried to push it, but out of respect for the people that live there, and with Molly not feeling comfortable with some of the stuff, because there's a lot of debris and damage and chaos, I guess. She didn't really want to get into the thick of it. I understand that. Respect that mostly. There are times where I feel like I could push the envelope to try and see what is available, gain knowledge on how these storms work and everything. And I did. We went to Steinhatchee, depending on who you talk to. And that town just destroyed. It really, really looked bad. And I don't think our video footage even does it justice as far as how bad it really is. There are hundreds and hundreds of linemen out here working on stuff, maybe thousands. We see truck after truck after truck working on it. Everything from, like, I just saw a Comcast truck, and then a lot of them are just trucks for regular electricity and telephone lines and so on, etc. So tons and tons of trucks coming and going. Lots of debris falling onto the power lines and wiping them out. We had to drive over some power lines, which was really sketchy. I really didn't have much choice, but luckily everything went fine. We were safe. Kind of waited for other people to go over them first before we went over them. This is crazy destruction. I've only seen stuff like this one other time, and it was earlier this year. I went back to Oregon after a major storm hit, but it was an ice storm, so kind of a little different. And I went back, God, it was probably a couple weeks after the ice storm, and it was still so tore up. It looked like a war zone. This too looks like a war zone in a lot of areas, and we love Florida. We love living here. It is something that we're going to have to get used to. There's going to be these storms that come out, and I'm going to try and document them when they do. Probably in future really bad ones, I'll probably be doing it by myself or with my son or something, just so Molly doesn't have a heart attack, because I care about her. I don't want her to be stressed out, and it is stressful. This stuff is stressful to see. The inner monologue says, hey, it says road closed, don't go here, and stuff like that, and I get it, but people are needing to see the damage, so we persevered a little bit. We did go into some areas that were a little sketchy. Molly stayed in the truck to stay safe, and I ventured out just a little bit. I didn't go crazy. I stayed in areas that I knew weren't going to get washed away, or I'd slipped or hurt myself or whatever, but there's places like I'm just passing right now. There's a tree that's just, the only thing holding it up is the power lines, and it's a big tree. Pretty scary. These type of things are no good. Mother Nature was pissed off, let me tell you. Steinhatchee, it was really destroyed. And then we heard the town of Perry was really messed up, and it is messed up, but it's inland, and it's just a little different type of destruction. It's mainly just tree fall. You're not next to the water and stuff like that. So, I'm just passing trees right now that are literally being held up by the wires, the telephone wires and the power lines. And it's pretty crazy. I'm actually coming up on the end of the road here, to where I have to slow down because there's a lineman truck kind of blocking the way. So I'm going to slow down. Just to the right of me, there's some trees that have fallen into the road, or into the side of the road. So they got me stopped right here. This is the way to get back home, so it's kind of the way that I am being mapped, but they are doing a lot of work on these power lines, and they have half the road blocked off, and they're just keeping us stopped until it's safe. As soon as I think this car gets by, I'll get a go. I really commend these linemen. These guys really work hard. They get out there and fix all the destruction to keep people with power and all the other utilities that are needed. It's weird to see. It's weird for me. I've seen this type of destruction in Oregon, where I'm from, different types of storms and flooding and stuff like that. But when a hurricane causes that damage, it's like instantaneous, like one day, and then the next day it's just people back to work. They're trying to fix all this stuff.
That just came right through there. All those trees are knocked down and stuff.
I'm going to try and make this little mini documentary kind of my experience and Molly's experience of what we're seeing. And it's pretty crazy.